Hi YouTube. Thank you for your messages, everybody, on my open heart surgery page. I could shout out everybody's name, but you know who you are. And I thank you. I appreciate it so much. Now, if you want me to shout your name out, I will. So leave me a comment, and I will. I want to talk to you all about my experience when I flatlined in surgery. A friend of mine was telling me I needed to talk about it because I hadn't told anyone besides people in my inner circle. So I decided to post this video if you want to know about life or death experiences and what happens and what do people really see. When I flatlined, all I remember is I could hear the doctors and nurses trying to bring me back. I could, you know how you can see through your eyelids? If you close your eyes and light is shining in your face, it's red. You can see the light. Well, I could feel the light on my face. I could see through my eyelids. If that makes sense to you, I could see the light shining on me. And it felt like forever, but within seconds, my whole life went past me. The best way I could explain it is, you know how kind of when you remembering something you went through, was like that. And everybody that had died, I saw their faces like, it was like fast. And it went by, and I remember at this point I'm realizing what's going on. I'm hearing the doctor say she's crashing, she's crashing. So I'm realizing I'm not dreaming, you know, I'm not asleep, I'm flatlining. And at that point, this is what I saw. After the remembrance of me seeing everybody that had passed, all my loved ones, I saw the brightest light I had ever seen in my life. I wouldn't even describe it as looking into a light bulb. It was so, the light was so bright, and the light seemed so thick. It felt like I could reach out and grab the light. That's the way it was. And I could tell that I was in the presence of God. And the reason I say that because I was peaceful, I wasn't nervous, I wasn't anxious. Matter of fact, I didn't want to come back. I wanted to stay where I was. That's how good it felt. I wanted to stay where I was. And I hear a voice saying, it's not time. And the voice did not sound like thunder. The voice wasn't coming from the outside. The voice was coming from my inner being. If you can get what I'm saying, it was coming from the inside, my inner being, my conscious. I could hear this voice. It wasn't something, oh, it's not time yet, my dear. It wasn't none of that. And like I said, I didn't want to come back. I wanted to stay where I was. I wasn't aware that I was crossing over per se, but wherever I was, it was so peaceful, and I wanted to stay there. So it was a fight between my will and my spirit for me to not stay there. And I do believe that people that don't fight anymore, that are low sick, don't want to live anymore, I believe at some point they do give up, and instead of them coming back, they stay there. Being in between those two realms was the weirdest experience of my life. And the night before, and I know this is weird, but the night before, a dark shadow was at the foot of my bed in the hospital. I'm in the room by myself, nobody's there with me. Just got through reading a few scriptures before I fell asleep. And so I closed my Bible. Within a few seconds, I see this dark black shadow at the foot of my bed. And I heard, I'm trying to kill you. At this point, I can't breathe. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't say anything. I was trying to call on Jesus' name. I was trying to rebuke the spirit or whatever it was, and my mouth wouldn't move. No sound would come out. Like I said, I wasn't able to breathe. So I remember in my inner being, I started calling Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And I kept hearing the shadow say, I'm trying to kill you. You have been a threat to me since the day you were born. I'm going to kill you. And at that point, I said Jesus the last time and it left. This happened to me before I went into surgery. And I told the nurse, bring the resuscitation machine into the room with you. And she was like, oh, you're just getting a porta cap put in. It's a very simple surgery. You're not going to need that. And I was like, no, I'm telling you. I was like, I understand what you're saying, but if you can respect my feelings, I'm not going to be comfortable until you do so. And she did what I asked her to do. And when I woke up, that nurse was right by my side, and I started choking. And that's when I realized they had put tubes down my throat because I wasn't breathing. Obviously, I flatlined. And when you start breathing on your own, the machine will work against you, so they have to immediately pull the tubes out. And she began pulling the tubes out and everything. They made sure I was stable and put me in ICU. I stayed there for a couple of hours until I was stable, and they knew I was well enough to go up on the floor. And I went up on the floor, and the doctor that did my surgery, from what I was told, he wasn't a Christian and he didn't believe in God. He had no belief in God. And he came into my room. He couldn't believe it was me. He walked in, he walked back out, looked at the number, and walked back in the room, and he was like, wow, I can't believe this. I can't believe you pulled through. And he told me, he said, I could lose my job for this. He said, but I would like to pray for you. And he actually got on his knees and prayed with me. So that was my experience, and I wanted to share this. My friend asked me to share it, and I'm sharing it. So I guess that's it. I was nervous about this, but like I said, I'm willing to let everything be known to the world if it's helpful. Okay, I'll be posting another video, I guess, in a week. So unless something happens between now and then, I think you all should see. Bye-bye.